Whoa, whoa, whoa! Good morning, lads, lasses, and non-binary folk. How are we all feeling today? Oh, look. 2 people to start with. Good fun. And I just got an email that I need to read. Oh, well. Oh, there are my hands. Hands! Yes, hello, Mac. Hello, Tiberian. And TJ, thank goodness. I'm popular today. I am popular today. Like my hat. I don't know why I'm wearing it. I just thought because I was saying adventure and changes and all that sort of thing, I'd put on a hat. Yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. Ugh. It's been a while since I've done a Just Chatting stream. Has been a while. And look, I'm not muted. And Fukushima is trending on Twitter. Who would have thought? But yes, it is the 12-year anniversary of 11-year anniversary of that tsunami in Fukushima. There you go. But yes. Oh, I don't know what to do. I've not really done one of these whole chatting things in a while. I have a few more things to do, to be honest. We're on final days now before I head over. Won't tell you the specific plane, don't want you to be tracking me. Yes, final days now. Oh, hello Stream Elements. Why is Stream Elements always so much slower than everyone else? And though I haven't set Stream Elements to do anything still. One of those many tasks that have left my mind. But I did get the laptop working, so no crashes on the laptop, as you can tell. Because this is working. Ooh. I live. We just need to go to the mixed tricks and you'll be good. You're not wrong. You're not bloody wrong. I'll talk about that forever. And many things forever. But yeah, so it's interesting that I forgot when I saw that Fukushima was trending on Twitter today. I was like, oh yeah, it has been 12 years since that, wasn't it? 2011. God, that feels so much more recent. Sitting here going, ugh. And now everyone's complaining about some sort of treated water being released, and everyone's not happy with the idea that they're going to be dumping treated nuclear water. Who knows what they're supposed to do with it, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it. Because yes, oof. It's not a bad flight to Japan from Australia, actually. The flight that I'll be doing is only about 9 hours. 9 and a bit hours. Anyone here flown to a distant country? I know it's way... I've visited... Oh, some family members I've visited. They were terrible flights. I never used to have a problem with flights either, but these days, I just find I'm very uncomfortable on flights. I don't know if it's the planes changing or the fact my bones ache. I don't know, Japanese stuff washing up in Jewish souls after the tsunami. Huh. Really? That's fascinating. Items washing up after 2011 tsunami. Oh yeah. No, Google. Why do you need my location? An estimated 5 million tons of debris was swept out to sea during Japan's 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. 5 million tons of houses, cars, boats, fishing gear, shipping containers, and other materials. There you go. So, possibly, you weren't doing. How many bombs we dropped in the ocean, but the amount of radiation in the ocean. I remember hearing about it when I was in high school. Yes! That's the thing, isn't it? I think everyone's watched, what was it? I think everyone's watched and read Sahara too much. Was it Sahara? The movie based on the Clive Cussler book. I'm really gonna read those Clive Cussler books. I've read all the ones I've got. I'll have to get some digital ones. I wonder if he's made any. So, yes. Okay, a football turned up in Alaska, a fishing boat somewhere in fishing boat and motorcycles somewhere on the coast of Canada, and a rowing boat in the USA. Oh, and a village sign turned up in... Is that Hawaii? Fascinating. There you go. And there's a giant concentration of debris in the middle of the ocean that everyone assumes is there. There you go. Oh, wow. That is a beautiful motorcycle that washed up. A Harley Davidson on Graham's Island, British Columbia, in Canada. And it got traced because it still had its number plate. Oh, that is a beautiful bike. Oh, that's a lovely bike. Probably just put this up. It's good. Be a real YouTuber. Just to, I have nothing up that'll... Yes, around here around high school. Yes, the Americans did, with their nuclear testing, do a lot of bombings. But I don't know... I don't know about this sort of stuff. I always find nuclear is a lot less dangerous than people get F by. Now, let's jump into this one. Actually, I am drinking that tea today. So, there you go. Let's, get a display, not display capture, a window capture? And there's the bike, yes. We'll, so there you go. Let's go to this article from the BBC. So yes, here we are. Harley Davidson. Look at it. I think it looks pretty good for being in the ocean for such a long time. Look at it, covered in stuff. It's been like tangled with stuff. It started gaining barnacles. Hey, you know, scrub it up a bit. I think it'll still work. How did that motorcycle float? I don't know. Look how much debris it's covered in. I don't think it needed to float. Maybe it drove all the way there. Like, vroom, vroom. Just drove along the ocean like the fellow, the skeletons in, what do you call it? In Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one. The skeletons walking along the bottom of the ocean. A village sign. Tanahata village was devastated by the earthquake. Much of the town of Iwate Prefecture was swept out to the ocean. Among was a debris of a wooden sign. Nearly 3 meters long, it bore the name of the wooden apartment building it came from. Shimanoski village housing. Found in October 2013, 2 years later. 6,000 kilometers away. On Kahaku Beach, Oahu Island, Hawaii. And I was right, it was Hawaii. There's a football. With David and Yumi Baxter found a football given to their classmates when he moved schools several years before. Oh, being Japanese! Wow, that was Miss Baxter. Goodness, what an amazing coincidence. That Yumi, one Yumi Baxter would find it. And there's the rowing boat. Wow, really, some of these have been through better times. I've seen a few rowing boats around my town that look like that. Usually in creek beds that have been abandoned. Seagull belonged to a high school in Ritsuzentaka. Well, that's a name and a half. It was completely flattened by the wave. Del Norte High School. Ah, they became formal sister schools. Ah, very nice. Oh, and a fishing boat. Wow, that fishing boat is... The cruelest ghost ship is based on the Canadian British Columbia. Certainly gonna love this. And the difficulties of showering at the Rio Maru. The squid fishing vessel sunk about 314 kilometers from Sitka, Alaska by naval cannon fire. It took several bursts of cannon fire to sink the ship. Wow. I don't know if that's saying stuff about how good the ship was, or how awful the ammunition they used was. Fascinating. Interesting. I didn't hear about that, to be honest. How did I miss that? That is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I do not know. I suppose deep sea, like, it's probably come with a lot of debris, and I think you'd find a lot of things a bit more buoyant than you expect, especially when it comes to lower pressures. I guess not everything just goes for the bottom bone. Not bad to the bone for little Timmy. No bad to the bone for little Timmy, yes. Poor old, can't believe it took several bursts of cannon fire to sink the Vion Maru squid fishing ship. Tough. Motorcycle is pretty dense though. Yes, but it depends what it was washed out with. The motorcycle could have been tangled up in a heap of other debris. You know, it seemed to be covered in cloth of some kind. Makes sense if you really think about it. Did a motorcycle boat from Japan to oh, was it British Columbia? It's amazing he actually got the bike back. So, the motorcycle that rode the tsunami, the Smithsonian. Reminds me of a story of a shipping container of bath toys that fell in the Pacific, and oceanists tracked them to the motion currents. Here we go. From the Smithsonian magazine. Here it is, the bike itself. The Harley Davidson. Peter Mark was exploring the coast of Columbia when he stumbled upon a large storage container. Ah, it was inside a storage container. There you go. There, that solved it. So the container must have been sealed? Or at least sealed enough that it was able to float out. So, tucked to the story survived the unthinkable, lived for a 4,000-mile journey because the container was insulated, making it buoyant. So it floated from Miyagi. It was carried by the Kushio current, pushed by the Oyashio current, grabbed by the west wind drift, and swept onto the Canadian coast by the Alaska current. Only took a year, though. There you go. 99% would need to be replaced. Oh, look at that! The company initially offered to restore the bike for Yokohama, but really quickly discovered that 99% of it needed to be replaced. Instead, they offered him a brand new motorcycle to replace the one he wanted. According to the museum, Yokohama respectively declined the gift, saying he didn't want to be a tall blade of grass among a shorter lawn. There you go. Has a bit of a problem with the tall poppy syndrome. I see, didn't want to be a tall poppy. That was pretty much everything too, all his possessions. He felt humble and didn't want to be treated specially. He requested the bike to be displayed in a place of prominence at a museum as a remembrance of the lives of the 2011 trustee. There you go. Nice guy. Rusty tribute to the still fresh wounds of the disaster. There you go. In a shipping container. Fascinating stuff. I'm just going to jump back to this screen until we inevitably talk about something. Kind of more full on. I don't know if I wouldn't have taken the bike. I probably would have taken the new bike, to be honest. I know that not many other people, but I'm a bit too maybe pragmatically minded. Like, ooh, I could sell that. Brand new Harley. I could sell that. But I suppose that's why I'm not in a Smithsonian article. It's an interesting thing. I still don't know if it's the tall poppy thing. I understand tall poppy syndrome is a problem, but in his case, the tall poppy is not driven by you know, jealousy or bitterness like the tall poppy syndrome in Australia is driven by. Eric Winters riding into the sunset with a washed-up bike. Vroom, vroom. I wonder why it rusted. If it was, oh, I suppose the container may not have been sealed, but so it was an insulated container, so the container floated, but it's still filled up with water. So, yes, interesting. Fascinating how strong the ocean is, isn't it? What else are we seeing? Remember the tragedy of Fukushima 20... Because yes, a lot of that's happening right now. No more disasters like Fukushima. Yeah, well... Huh? What's this? Friendly floaties spill. Oh, there it is. Including rubber ducks. Jump this back. Okay, let's jump to the screen again. Rubber ducks, the friendly floaty spills. Back to duck, marketed by the first years, made very famous by the work of Curtin Edmire. There you go. Spent years in the frozen Arctic ice before I got frozen into the ice in the Arctic. Friendly floaty stories manufactured in China for first years, departed Hong Kong. On the Evergreen, Ever Laurel. Side for Tacoma, Washington. During a storm, flashing the international dateline, intermodal containers were washed overboard. Then these containers had 28,000 floaties. A child's bath toy, which came in a number of forms. Red beavers, green frogs, blue turtles, and yellow ducks. At some point, the container opened, possibly because it collided with other containers or the ship itself, and the floaties were released. Each toy was mounted in a cardboard housing attached to a backing card. A subsequent test showed that the card quickly degenerated in seawater, allowed the floaties to escape. Unlike many Darth toys, friendly floaties have no holes in them, so they do not take on water. So they could actually track them. At one time, after did the test a method of releasing 100 Biff bottles. 2%, so 20 to cover recovery into for those release. 2 scientists expected close to 600. Yeah. Including 661,000 Nike running shoes lost in the 1990s. Goodness. There you go. Woo, around. They went around that way, flew down to Australia, turned up in Queensland. To East South America, West South America, went all the way around. Wow, that took them a good better part of 20 years to get, almost 20 years to get to the other side of the Europe and the like. Fascinating. Oh, excuse me. There you go. Predicted fall landfalls. Travel to Alaska, westward back to Japan, and Bering Strait, Arctic pack ice. Eastward, make land. Too shy to found a plastic duck on the Devon coast. There you go. Fun. Really, the stream of... I'm using an old mouse now because my other mouse is packed up already. I really hate this thing. Friendly floaties will survive, outlive mankind. They will outlive mankind. That I promise you. But yes. Whew. Interesting thing. It's funny. That sort of floating... I've never involved myself in one of those experiences because I've lived too often. I've lived in landlocked locations. Like, I have access to the ocean quite easily. But I was never really close. I never lived in a city on the ocean until, my later life. And so I was far away from those things. But that was always a popular thing to do for schools. Not that far back, but certainly, well, you heard some doing it. But even in the 80s and 90s, when I was involved in schools, I was never in a place where they did that whole, throw a message in a bottle thing, Throwing things, a message in a bottle, letting it float away, and then, in China, 6 years later, 10, 20 years later, something, discovering a rubber ducky, trying to figure out its function. Yes, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Plastics will outlive most of us. So, it would be hard to see what a future civilization would even think of plastics and its various like. and its ilk. It's hard to say what they'd think. Perhaps them being so everywhere, they would think there was some sort of useful thing, or... Well, just go and look at what we find. You know, it's hard to tell what we can tell what things were done with. It's just that never before in history has things lasted so long. That's, I think, the problem. Have you tried beachcombing with a metal detector? Oh, I think I did it with a few retirees years back. You know, good with the fellows from the RSL or something like that, but we never found much success. None of the beaches nearby where we were the sort of beaches that had things that washed up on them. Protected bays and the like. You're looking for more. You'd need to go to some more. But it was fun. We found a few fun things. Found a couple of, like, lost pieces of jewellery that were made of, you know, fake gold, you know. So they weren't very exciting, but they looked cool and they were fun. But that was more from people dropping stuff in the sand or the water and it being washed back into the beach. Baffled by rubber ducks, young people don't currently struggle with a fax machine. Yes, well, the thing about... That's the thing, that's what I was saying. I don't think before in history has anyone made anything that lasts forever. That will very likely outlive us all. It's usually luck or happenstance that preserves items from older cultures. So, having things that a lot of people had, like toys especially, I imagine, back in the day, there may be some toys that were fine, but, you know, what if the toys were just rocks? We'd never be able to tell if that was a rock or a toy somebody used. That's the thing. Toys will be a lot more common in our archaeological image. Because, of course, a lot of them are made of plastic. And it's hard to say what people would say, because, you know... Are we going to be able to estimate? Like, have we misunderstood what something was? It's a lot of things, you know, ancient toys. It's hard to say. Okay, use a pencil. Future is grimmer by the day. I think everyone will learn how to do a pencil, because... Surprisingly enough, there are a lot of places that you use that sort of stuff. Just being able to make notes, very useful. Though I understand that laptops are quite handy, I still think there's a place for handwriting. But, you know, maybe even phones could replace that, you know. Phones could replace... Excuse me. Excuse me. But yes, maybe they'll replace... Because I was always like, well, if you want to quickly make a note of something or have a list on the fridge... Books, Jen, if you didn't see it. Oh my god, a book. What is this? Dead tree. Covered in printed paper. Got a weird ad for an electronic writing pad a few times recently. Did you now? Did you now? You know, that might be the next step. Maybe instead of having books, we have writing pads and stuff like that. Because, you know, I could see how it's less useful writing. I prefer it myself. That's just because I never really did learn how to type fast. I'm pretty good, but I make a lot of mistakes, to be honest. But I do try and type quickly. I make a lot of mistakes and, you know, I make less when I'm writing quickly with my hand, but it is true that these days I find it tiring to write so much because I don't do it as much anymore. My hands have lost their muscles for writing. I'm sure I'll get them back over in Japan. There's no paper in Star Trek, you're correct. There is no paper in Star Trek, but they also have the holodeck, so I feel like we're a bit far away from that completely. Will the future generation know what the PS2 was? I doubt so, if they're people and they don't even know what the PS1 is. Well, I think most people can assume the PS1 and the PS2 were the predecessors to the PS5 or the PS4. I think they can make that logical leap on their own. I think people will be more confused by the Xbox. Because, like, what do you mean, the Xbox? Just the Xbox. Not the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One. Or the Xbox Series X. No. Xbox. Things like SNES and Nintendo 64 will be more likely to be forgotten. I think people can make an assumption. It's PS2 games and hardware and how it actually worked. Maybe they would be confused. But I think out of all of the ones that people could keep an eye on, PS2 I think is probably the ones because they've actually kept the consistent naming convention. Whereas you've got Nintendo, which is, the Super Nintendo and just the Nintendo Entertainment System. Then you had, Nintendo 64 and, there was the Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo Wii U, the Nintendo Switch. Those are a lot easier to lose the trail, Here you go, I want to get a Nintendo 64 when I'm over in Japan. But the NES? They're just older. I think most of them are going to be, it's going to be hard to... Well, I don't think you'll find many young people who know the NES and the SNES very well. These... Oh, hell! I can't even remember the last time I've seen one of them, to be honest. I rarely saw them where I was, so maybe it's a bias. It's a strange bias, but I saw Nintendo 64s when they came out a lot. But really, before that, I didn't even see all that many Nintendo products, to be honest. SNES. Like, I didn't really see much of the SNES and stuff like that. Which is a bit strange, I always found. I recognize the controller, but... The way that Nintendo's treating old games, I can see it being forgotten a time sooner. Yes! Old NES games. Is it NES games or NES games? I never knew. I know it's SNES for some reason. But, I could never tell you. But yes. Well, they seem to be in... What is it called? Didn't they have two different names? So wasn't it called the Famicom in Japan? What was the Famicom? The Famicom is... Yes, yes. Apparently there are several e-ink writing pads in the market. There you go. That's right. Because it was Nintendo Entertainment System Family Computer. It was the Famicom. In Japan. I'd forgotten they had that particular difference. It's amazing how few of them I saw in, the 20 years or so that they were around. The 10 years or so they were around, or the 15 years or so they were around. And in Argentina, it's called Family. Just call it the regular Nintendo. No. So you don't call it the NES or the NES? You just call it the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, you never know. I hear they're quite easy to acquire, quite well in good condition, so perhaps we should start doing a bit of mostly Nintendo. I think I think most people have forgotten Sega entirely, speaking of consoles. Rough times for Sega, eh? If you say NES, most people... I just assumed because of SNES, to be honest. I really didn't see many of them. Perhaps I saw them in stores, but I never saw anyone playing them. Mostly all the other things. Assuming I came up with it, they started calling it the old one the regular Nintendo. That's true. Again, it's strange how little I saw of it. It's bizarre, but I was in countryside Australia at the time, so maybe it was just to be expected. Just didn't make it that far into the middle of bloody nowhere. So, yeah, well. Why is YouTube, whenever I look up these old consoles, it's always like, a SNES games being made, a Nintendo 64 game still being made? No? I don't think any have been made for the last 20 years. I just don't get how I missed so much. And then when the Nintendo 64 came out, I've seen it. Sega's doing well. Somebody said it's Sega's year. Oh. Is it? Huh? What? Do they still make the games? I wouldn't think they would make the cartridges. Can't be cheap to produce back then either. Either back then, but good old Sega. Hey, what's so, huh? When you have fan groups, making older games work on those consoles, but nothing but the big ones. Yeah, but that's what it keeps turning up when I look at these consoles. Does Sega still exist? Is the suggested question from Google. Funny. Does Sega still exist? How did that Sega... What was it, that Sonic game go? Sonic Frontiers. Was it Sonic Frontiers? Yeah, how'd that Sonic Frontier game go, eh? IPs, but in terms of consoles, shock are healing out Sega. There's some homebrew manufacturers who make new cartridges for old systems. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have guessed. I suppose there's a thing for anyone. As long as you have the way to do it. Oh, shit, it's all very well. No, I just feel like I saw a tiny bit about it, and then nothing. Way better than expected. Oh yes, Sega owns the Yakuza series, don't they? Was it Sega that's Yakuza? Yes, it seems to be. Publishes as Sega. Oh yes, they didn't. Talking about making a sequel and continuing the formula. Well, if it was successful, you know, and it was good, maybe. Yeah, I've forgotten about Yakuza being owned by Sega. How did that new Yakuza game go? Like a Dragon Ishin, or whatever it was. The one based in the Edo period with all the characters. It was like a period play. It's like an anthology period play where they're all playing characters. And what is it? The Shinsengumi is the sort of people in it. Shinsengumi are the enemies? Question mark. Very interesting. They've gone with the Shinsengumi. The old police. Shinsengumi. Sorry, Shinsengumi. Newly selected corps. By the military government during the late Tokugawa shogunate. Interesting. Good old Kondo. Speaking of Shinsengumi, if you want to watch a series that has the Shinsengumi in it, watch Gintama. It's hilarious. The Shinsengumi are in that. Critics is turning down on NFT games. What does that even mean? The only NFT game I ever heard of was that billion-dollar stealing scheme, which was, you know, that Logan Paul one. Good old Kondo Isami. What an intense-looking man. Yeah, I'm just gonna jump back to the screen. But yes, don't recommend Gintama? I do recommend Gintama. It's hilarious. I loved it. Well, some of it. Oh, not all of it's great, but, you know, I like a lot of it. I'll admit, there's a lot of episodes, so not all of them are good. But I really enjoyed it when I watched it. I have, over time, watched it. Why don't you recommend Gintama, J. Hank? What do you have against Gintama? It's funny. The humor's a bit juvenile, but, you know, I'll take it. By saying that, though, somebody's going to come up to me and say, don't you know Gintama is X, Y, and Z-ist? Don't you know it's all these transphobia and all this sort of thing? And I'm like, oh no. And I'll feel really bad about myself. But before that, currently, I do stand behind Gintama as a fun series to watch. You don't even have to just avoid the ones that the episodes that actually are linked to each other and just watch all the standalone comedy episodes. It's kind of a bit of a... I don't know, it's reference galore, and you don't know what they're talking about, you miss the joke, or even entire plots. That's true. That's true. If you don't know the... I guess I am fortunate that, I got recommended Gintama by the same... I watched Gintama through the same, people that I, watched anime because of, and therefore a lot of the jokes in Gintama work. But I even found the jokes about Japanese politicians funny. I didn't need to know what the politician did to get the joke most of the time. And also, it was just funny how they would always have hyper-realistic faces randomly appear. But yes, it's true. For those who don't like that sort of humor, it is quite a bit of reference humor. So I'll give you that. Okay, that's fair enough. That's a good point. You make a good point there. I just happen to know a lot about some, and for the others, I was fine with not caring that much. I was in the mood, so I found it funny anyway. Because they do make a lot of reference to famous Japanese people in that sense. I don't know a single Japanese celebrity. Still found it funny, though. Because we can all appreciate somebody making fun of the government. Even if you have no idea who they're talking about. You can always appreciate that. It's a great Australian pastime, making fun of Australian government officials. But hey, you don't have many references in the main story arcs, so if you... most always make a good point. Oh. I find the story arcs that are more serious tend to have more classic humor and don't tend to reference as much, so with that sort of thing you can usually avoid it. It really depends. It's a whole mix of different humors, that show. Sometimes you have a great deal of referential humor, sometimes it's no referential humor and it's based on something. Sometimes, though, it's based on a pun, which is very difficult to understand if you're not Japanese. Where... bless their hearts, the translators and the localizers tried their damnedest to make the jokes understandable in English. But, yes, there was a lot of barriers to that show, but I still think a lot of people appreciate some of the arcs in it. If not, just go find funniest jokes in Gintama compilations on YouTube and just watch that. It'll probably do. Because there are some just absurd scenes. But back to games. NFT games. I still don't get that. But yes, anyone know about that Yakuza game, though? About the Shinzagami. Does anyone know if it went well? Did anyone watch somebody play it? Or is it not out yet? I think it was out, right? Was it like a dragon... Ishin? Ryuga Gotoko Ishin. I do like this whole like a dragon. So they did like a dragon, and they followed another gangster in another city being, a turn-based Dragon Quest fanatic. Which was funny. That was interesting. And now you've got Like a Dragon Ishin, where they're all running around in Shinzagami outfits and stabbing people in the Edo period. With a gun, if I remember correctly. Yeah, another video we're playing. It's a tad dry. Not as ridiculous, so it doesn't have the sort of ridiculousness of the high emotional stakes and then the ridiculous side quest. It's probably, what is it about? Framed for clear yourself of a framed murder, restore your honor. Ah. Our classic story, adventuring to Kyoto to know. Jeez, you're a man with some strong opinions, aren't you, J-Hank? You're like, okay, that one thing is in it? Absolutely not. How would she even be in it? Takes place in the distant past. Yes, I know. Doesn't mean you can't have ridiculous side quests. Sakamoto Ryoma. Swordsman, gunman, brawler, and wild dancer. Where you shoot people with a sword. No, wait, you shoot and stab them with a sword, sorry. I'm gonna look at what you're talking about. Nyanas. Not a fan of nyanas, eh? Oh, so like... Oh, it's just a little... I wasn't gonna play it anyway. I don't have to. I don't know, just not a fan. Oh, so she's part of the card game. I see, there's some sort of card game. Oh no, wait. Oh, so the... Okay, you're focusing on guest characters. Oh, so there's different guest characters too. There seems to be a few sportsmen, wrestlers, whoever the bloody hell that is. Alex, Mo, Kala, Kenny Omega, and other guests. Interesting. So they're just... Oh, so that's the cosplayer. Interesting. So you're the cosplayer. Understood, understood. So there's some sort of... It's just like items you can use to boost your... thing? Yeah. Cosplayer beginning a game couldn't learn less. Twitter drama, you know? Yeah. Well, didn't she have some drama around her because she dated somebody? Or is dating somebody, and that's some sort of terrible travesty? Oh my god, romantic interest. How could you? Why is rest in peace trending in sports? There you go. There you go. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I'll become a real Vtuber when I'm over in Japan. I'll start speaking Japanese randomly. Everyone, you'll barely recognize me. I'll go native. Won't be able to stop me. Just how brutal it was. Yeah, well, those games in the best of times could be a bit brutal. My God, who died? I don't know. It just says rest in peace. I don't know what Twitter's saying. It works in mysterious ways. That's a rapper, though. Why is it trending in sports? Oh, it's just random. There is absolutely no... It seems some sort of rapper has passed away, but there's a lot of other things. It's just trending, and it says trending in sports. For some good goddamn reason. Good goddamn reason. I do not know. You ever play Half-Life 1? On stream? Oh, no, not on stream, but yes, I've played Half-Life 1 probably twice. Or 3 times, maybe? I can't remember. I certainly played it a few times. I played it once on its own, and then I think I got that orange box at one point. It's so strange that when you come back to your own good here. Yeah. Watch out, I'll be, can't stop me. Though, I'm treating this getting used to hear your own language again. Yeah, I'll be interested to see that. It's been... You know, I've really only ever gone to places that speak English, to be entirely... Or places that quite often speak English, perhaps is a better way of putting it. But, you know, it's hard to say what I'll experience here. And anyway, you fellas will probably end up being along for the journey when I need a break. I'll use you guys as an excuse and do a just chatting stream. Because I'll have, as long as I have internet, I have my laptop, which is working, as you can tell. And I'll have my microphone and my audio stuff with me, so don't you worry. I'll probably, when I need a break, just start a stream. So I'm treating like this like, oh, you won't see me for months, but you know, there's a good chance you might see me very soon. Or you won't. Who knows? I'm just not promising anything. I'm gonna put maybe hiatus into my YouTube description name. Into my name of my YouTube. Perhaps hiatus? Maybe hiatus. Now, I'll hire one of you guys to start making shorts of me, so when I'm not streaming on the channel, I'll start growing subscribers. And I'll get somebody to start making shorts. I don't have that kind of money. Master of Australianism. Eric Winters. Yeah. I need to be a bit more west. I need to be a bit more like West Queensland for that. Like, oh yeah, mate, I'm going down the market, going there. Get a few kangaroos loose in your bloody top paddock, eh, mate? That sort of thing. And he's good at that sort of thing, yeah. Like, quick, do it. But he's a busy boy. I couldn't do that to him. He's too busy. I had never signed the back of that. Yeah. Or I did, and it's been rubbed off. And we went back to Dentist 2, Quantumania. Did that come out? I did see 1 or 2 pieces of advertisement for that, but I really didn't see all that much for that. It may be that these days I use YouTube Premium, like a awful, awful creature. I am a terrible person using YouTube Premium. And so I never see the ads for anything, though. I don't see ads for anything anymore, because I use YouTube Premium. Or ad block. Oh, excuse me. Oh dear. Oh, Queensland is trending in Australia. I frankly because that existed. Yes, I saw something really funny. I saw something really, really funny about that, which is I think I heard somebody say, Quantumania feels like they made Ant-Man 4 before they made Ant-Man 3. Because it feels so disconnected from previous Ant-Man stories that it kind of feels a bit dishonest in a way. Disconnected, strange. It only contained a small amount of the characters from previous films, so yeah, a bit strange, eh? Oh yes, I also pulled out the old disc holder. And I've stuffed all the discs of the games I want to bring over with me. Because I'll be over there for an extended period of time. Quite a bit of time, so I've actually brought my PlayStation. And Modak looked in that movie. I want to hear your reaction. Modak, that's a big brain fellow, isn't it? Big head fellow, right? Modak. Yeah, he's a big head fellow, right? Quantumania. Oh my god. What is that? That has to be edited, right? That can't be real. There's no way. Oh, and he's got one where he's got an evil face mask on. There is absolutely no way that's real. Look at him. What is that? Oh my goodness. You cannot be serious. Cannot. That's ridiculous. You wish. I swear, that doesn't look real. That looks fake. And this looks like they're trying to sell a toy. Granted, MODOK always looked a bit like they were trying to sell a action figure. Or actually, I just realized MODOK was the very first Funko Pop. MODOK, the first Funko Pop. Before Funko Pops were even a thing, it was this thing. Oh my goodness. that is... I don't know what to feel about this. It just looks like a it looks like a shit post. It looks like a meme. Oh, look, down here. His butt. What is that, Joe Rogan? Look at that. MODOK. You could just stick anyone's face onto that. Good. God, there we see. At least he looked horrifying in older comics. Look at that. Look at him. At least he looks awful in that. He looks kind of like gross and scary. This is just a cheerful looking fellow and he looks like he's trying to try and sell you a used car or he's the IT guy working at a high school. The socially awkward IT guy working at the high school. Looks like he plays golf on the weekends. And why do they give him like a... That looks like a toy. It looks like they just wanted to make that so they could sell it. What is that? Oh my goodness. This is... a travesty. To be honest. An absolute travesty. This is just upsetting. This is just upsetting. Okay, never mind. Oh, that's... I don't want to look at that anymore. Get that out of my face. More my movement than Ant-Man villain. Yes, well... Again, I'm not very much a comic person. It's always interesting how they've managed to turn certain things into other things. Like, how Iron Man was relatively... Well, he was probably popular, but from what I've heard, he wasn't as popular as other superheroes, but he's become one of the most popular in the modern form of it. I suppose that's the power of charisma that Robert Downey Jr. brings. Fascinating. Fascinating indeed. Tesla couldn't have approved it. I guess they just ignore them now. That's the thing, isn't it? I think it probably was something test audience probably said something about, but at that point, the problem with that sort of thing is by the time you get to the point where that is able to be created with CGI, you've already sunk just so much money into it. So much. So it probably was a case of, meh. It's too expensive to change, and if anything, it'll drive engagement. People will talk about it. It looks so ridiculous that maybe it's a marketing trick. Maybe they knew it sucked, but at this point they'd spent too much money and they were banking on it being so ridiculous that it'll actually drive people to watch it or interact with it. Considering I pretty much heard nothing about it until I saw a video essay about it, I have a strange feeling it didn't work, but hopefully they'd be able to change this stuff like this quickly. Yes, you'd almost just... I just want him to be angry. I think the old MODOK in comics looked frightening and grotesque. That looks grotesque, certainly, but in an entirely different way. The sort of, oh my god, this must be a joke sort of grotesque. It's so ridiculous and weird. It's kind of like, ugh. It's not, oh my goodness, it's frighteningly disgusting. Or, oh my goodness, that's, you know... actually really well done. No, it's, oh, what the hell of that? What were they thinking? That looks like a joke. It looks like somebody's made a meme to make fun of it. The actor said he felt it was better because he figured that MODOK was not a threatening character but more comedic. Well, did they play him as a joke? Was he a joke the whole time? Was the entire time was he a joke? Because if that's the case, maybe I'd be willing to forgive it. But if they wanted to be any sort of villain, they can't play him as a joke, because villains aren't... there won't be any stakes if the villain's not frightening. If the villain doesn't... if the villain is a joke villain, then there's no threat from them. If it's a comedy movie, that's fine, because that's the point, but... if he was not just a joke... and if they wanted to... you know, they saw that had that sort of mask form, where clearly he was being villainous in his evil mask. If they wanted to do that, I think they should have done something more grotesque. Like, maybe have his face screw up into that sort of comic book style, angry face. Mr. Psyche, the main man? Mr. Psyche, the main bad guy, I see. I remember the Force meme, MODOK theme goes with trolling, and now it goes with being trolled. I think if they wanted to make him evil at some point, they'd have him comedic, and then him become evil. I think they should have had some transformation, like it's still the same CGI face, but now it's twisted in this horrifying form. Maybe that would have worked better, but, you know, I could see where they're coming from. As long as he was comedic the whole time, I'll be a bit more forgiving of the stupid style, but... yeah, fascinating. There you go. There you bloody well go. I gotta go to work. Safe travels. I will. Traveling across the world. You know, I feel like if I want a break, you guys will see me soon. So don't worry, it couldn't be more than a week or two before I'll, you know, do a short hour long. It will be only a short stream, but I'll be around. So don't you worry. Maybe I'll actually start using the Discord more. Sending you all pictures of my travels there. Look. Living the high life. You know, do some turn it to my own personal Instagram, because I don't have one. But actually, you know what? It's been a long time since I've just done an hour. But I think I might actually head off too. I have a few things I have to get organized. I have to go visit some people. And I have to go buy some things. So, maybe I'll leave it there too. I know I could keep talking, I always can. But, and it feels a bit sudden. But I think we might leave it there as well. If that's okay with all of you. It wasn't ever going to be a long stream today. I've got a bit too much to do. I have to pack up everything that I'm using to stream right now. And make sure it's all... Like, this may be a, you know, a long time before I actually... Well, long time for some people, but I like to get all my stuff packed quite early. So I can test weights and, you know, play around with distribution of stuff. But yes. Anyway. I think we'll finish up there. Oh dear, Grigio Amagata. Which was Astropossum, I believe. Nice hat, thank you. You've just turned up for me to start finishing up. Oh dear, it's only been a short one, I know. But we're just doing a bit of a just chatting stream just before I start packing all my stuff up for my travels. My journeys. We're waiting for you to come back. Don't you worry. I'll come back in the way that I'll be, you know, settled down where I'm going to end up. And we'll eat Golden Gay times. Damn, I'm going to miss those, actually. I'm going to miss those. I just realized they won't have them, will they? Anyway. Thank you for coming. Thank you for saying my hat is nice. Astropossum, I believe. Maceo Arengada. But yes, it'll be a quick one. Get stronger with a katana and maybe an anime girl. No, you'll see the training arc the whole time. It'll be a long trip and you'll see me. And I'm saying trip, but I'll explain it when I'm settled down. Once it's all settled and ready, I'll explain what I'm going. I don't want being so vague, but you know, I like my privacy. That's why I'm being vague. Anyway, I'll be back. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. We'll see. And I'll be back, meaning I'll be out and about, but I'll be in a place where I have access to a constant internet connection. I should take an Ethernet cable, actually. It's a smart idea, everyone. Thank you for reminding me. I should take an Ethernet cable, just in case. But yes, with all that, you'll see me soon. Sooner than you might think. It'll be just chatting for the foreseeable future, though. Yeah, see, remember, have a great trip. I will. I will remember to have a great trip. Thank you for reminding me. I was almost so filled with anxiety that I wasn't going to have a great trip. So thank you for reminding me. But, as always, good night. Sweet dreams. Actually, good night. Sleep tight, and don't let your dreams be dreams. Drop an update when you land. I will. I'll take a picture of my tiny hotel room in the center of Tokyo. Bocce the Winters. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Wish you have lots of fun. Good night. Well, sorry for ending so early, and sorry for all you, but we've hit an hour. Sounds like a good time to finish. Let's throw all the pictures on the ending stream. Let's go. Boop. There we are. We haven't seen the Golden Gate times in a while. There we are. Golden Gate times. Nighty night, everyone. Nighty night. I'll see you next in a hotel.